You think variance is the root of your pain at the poker table. You believe you're being punished by luck, not by your own decisions. But the numbers don't lie. If you address your imprecise reads with precision, you can reclaim hundreds of big blinds per session lost to invisible EV attrition. This is the real leak, and the real enemy isn't variance. It's your sloppy estimation of your opponent's range. This is Vinton Poker, precision in, profits out. And the topic of today's short talk is the hidden costs of imprecise reads, why you're losing most sessions. I'm Vinton, and I specialize in one thing, transforming everyday players into highly profitable, exploitable forces at the live tables. If you're tired of break-even sessions and ready to engineer a consistent income stream, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Here's the lie, the blue pill that most players swallow daily. I run bad. If only variance wasn't so cruel, I'd be a winner. The real thief isn't the deck. It's not the next hand. The market, meaning the poker ecosystem, does not punish you for being unlucky. It punishes you precisely and efficiently every time you fail to see your opponent's actual range. Most of your losses aren't delivered by a dramatic outlier hand. They are quietly siphoned off session after session through a mechanism called EV attrition. The invisible cost you pay each time your read is vague, hand-wavy, or based on a gut feel. The League Hunter diagnostic has validated this. For an intelligent player at live to mid stakes, think 1-2 to 2-5 to 5-10 even, the chronic cost of imprecise range reads is about roughly $320 per 4-hour session. This is your hidden, measurable tax. Here's the point. You think variance is your villain, but what's actually draining your profit is your inability to define with surgical precision what your opponents could possibly hold. Every time you make a decision with, he probably has something, the market thanks you for your donation. Why? Because every action you take, call, fold, raise, or check, must be calibrated to your actual equity against your opponent's true range. If you screw this up by even a few combos, your expected value quietly hemorrhages away. Most of you are not losing pots. You're leaking equity. One inaccurate decision at a time, every single orbit, for months or years. Think about the implications. One loosely assigned combo here, a couple of wishful discounted monsters there, and what seems like a marginal call becomes a massive mistake. This trickle is not noticed in the moment. The gut blames bad luck, but your session results over weeks provide an unambiguous diagnosis. Small errors compound, capital efficiency evaporates. So, why does sloppy range estimation erode your profit so deeply? The answer lies in the concept of expected value chains. Every incorrect assumption at one point creates a ripple effect, an opportunity for more mistakes later in the hand and in the future sessions. These are not isolated errors. They are systemic. You may think you're only off a little, but if you're regularly misjudging even a handful of combos, the impact snowballs. And because poker is a zero-sum game, that money isn't just vanishing. It's directly being picked up by the people who aren't making these mistakes. This is basic market economics. Capital flows to those with the sharpest information and the tightest execution. Let's self-diagnose. Ask yourself, when was the last time I explicitly estimated my opponent's range using actual combinations rather than a gut feel? Can I explain why I made a call or fold without using results-oriented logic? In review, how often does my decision change if I process one more piece of information about the opponent's profile? Right now, could I estimate within plus or minus 2 combos the number of value and bluff hands a particular opponent would play in a giving way against me? Do I regularly make mental or even written notes about my opponent's actions, frequencies, or tendencies? Or do I mentally compress everything into generic categories like tight, loose, aggro, or reg? When reflecting on a confusing hand, do I reconstruct what each villain could reasonably show up with, or do I just say anything is possible and move on? If you cannot answer these with hard specifics, you are actively underwriting better players. Every time you gloss over the details, the capital you wanted to earn is quietly being redistributed to the informed. Here's the core math. Precision in range reading isn't trivia. It's the economic foundation of all profit in poker. Equity cannot be extracted from a range you cannot define. Every error in assignment is paid for immediately to the more precise capital allocator at your table. So why do smart, committed players persist in fuzzy, wishful range assignments? The psychology of this league is simple: ego and laziness. It feels safe to blame variance. It costs nothing emotionally to say, bad beat. It's expensive in cognitive energy and emotional discomfort to sit with the uncertainty and map out a strategy anchored to real combos and not hope. Let's get philosophical. This is an economics problem, but also identity. Do you see yourself as someone who must defend your ego, or as someone who's willing to engage with reality even at the cost of feeling wrong? The economics market at your poker table is brutally and ruthlessly efficient. The pool thanks you every time you take the soft path of blaming variance rather than the hard work of capital allocation. And there's more. When you continually blame outcomes, you're shielding yourself from feedback, the most valuable teacher the poker ecosystem can offer. Fuzzy range work is a kind of a self-protection. If luck decides, I'm off the hook. But what are the costs of never holding yourself rigorously accountable to the process? You end up misclassifying systemic leaks as random noise. Poker punishes this confusion every single orbit. Consider this: the stories you tell about running bad are in effect defense mechanisms, narratives built to protect your identity as a capable player. But markets don't care about your narrative. The economics of poker are cold, rational, and unforgiving. You want profit? Discard your stories. Embrace clinical self-honesty. You think you're unlucky? The pool calls you the ATM quietly as they profit from your imprecision. Why? Because in poker, as in all markets, there is no credit for almost correct. Capital allocation, dollars won per decision, are not narratives that you soothe over. Here's where most intelligent players stall. You know intellectually that range estimation matters, but your process rarely gets past the vague descriptor. He could have anything. She's loose. They bluff sometimes. That's not a range. That's a bedtime story you tell yourself to avoid discomfort. True precision means stepping into the discomfort of being wrong. It means converting "he could have anything" into "these are the 17 combos he plays this way, and my hand has X equity against that set. Anything else is dead money." Let me sharpen this for you with a practical self-test. If someone stopped you after a tough decision and asked you to reconstruct the actual combos you assigned, could you do it? Cold and without hedging. Do you use specific hand frequencies in your session prep, or only trust your intuition in the heat of the moment? When you review a losing hand, do you track which mistakes were products of edge case luck versus which were failures to allocate capital accurately? Or do you just lump them all together as an unfortunate outcome? Are your range assignments ever truly updated by opponent-specific feedback, or do you default to generic labels like tight aggro, fish, reg, because it feels easier? If you hesitate, if the answer is no or not exactly, then you're the one leaving that $320 per session on the table. This is the economics of cognition. Capital is transferred, not lost. If you're not collecting it through precision, someone sharper is. Are you still holding on to the variance myth? Here's your protocol. If you execute these 3 steps with discipline, you will reclaim up to $320 per 4-hour session, back in your pocket, backed by hundreds of real reports. Protocol number 1, quantify your range errors. Start keeping score. Every session, write down every significant hand where you made an estimate of an opponent's range. After the session, reconstruct the action. What were the actual combo counts of possible holdings? How many did you assign live, and how many did you get wrong? Practice for at least a week. The Leak Hunter Diagnostic, a completely free tool, does exactly this, but ruthlessly and accurately. If you want a clinical audit of your leaks, use it. It reveals where your educated guess is costing you real money. The link is in the description, or go to vintonpoker.com/leak hunter. Protocol 2, rewire your decision heuristics. Now force yourself to replace every placeholder assignment with an explicit verbal or written process. Build a habit. When considering a call or raise, state aloud, I assign villain this range, and list the combos. My hand is here in my range. Given the payout odds and their tendencies, this is my action. This rewires your heuristics away from emotional reactivity towards surgical analysis. It is the difference between a professional allocator and a slot machine monkey. Struggling to verify if your process is solid? The market moves too fast for you to guess correctly. That's why I built the Vinton Poker Coaching AI. It's trained specifically to audit your logic against solved and exploitative frameworks instantly. And again, absolutely free to use. Stop theorizing and start validating. Go to vintonpoker.com/AI coach, and the link is in the description. Protocol number 3, verify exploit profitability. Once your range assignments are tighter, apply one last check. Are your adjustments actually generating profit in practice, or are you simply fitting bias into what you wish was true? Here's where session review using real hand data will truth test your reads. Plug the combos back in. How does your action shift if you weigh your opponent's line or tendency even slightly differently? This feedback loop tracks the impact of precision in real dollars, because the only reads that matter are those that you can exploit in the market. Anything else is mental masturbation. Let's reset and summarize. You blame variance for your pain. The pool capitalizes on your range imprecision. The chronic measured cost is about $320 per 4-hour session, vanishing underground, hand after hand, orbit after orbit. The prescription is not hope or superstition. It is relentless quantification, disciplined heuristics, and systematic confirmation of results. Let's tie together your diagnostic self-test. Have you listed actual combos recently and consistently? Can you justify your action without relying on hand results outcome? Does your process adapt intelligently when you add new data points to your opponents? Can you reconstruct your assignments honestly after the fact? Do you use explicit frequencies, or do you just wing it each time? When you lose, do you know if it was variance or strategic failure? If you're failing even one of these, you're a standing invitation to the sharper players at your table. But if you fix this leak, the math says you will reclaim about $320 every 4 hours, as proven by the Leak Hunter Diagnostic and hundreds of player audits. Precision in, profits out. If you want this transformation to be automatic, built on structure and protocols, feedback and precise blueprints for extracting every cent of hidden EV from the player pool, the Delusion Killer Masterclass is your next step. This isn't for dabblers, the entitled, or for those who need to believe in luck. This is for the analytically inclined, the system thinkers, and the players who refuse to be the market's charity case for one more orbit. My invitation is this: if you're ready to treat poker as capital allocation rather than a lottery, go to vintonpoker.com/course. Full details and entry are below. Final question for you to ponder. When you lose a big pot to a bizarre or unexpected play, Do you actually audit your range estimation process, or do you duck the work and blame bad luck? Drop your answers in the comments below. I read every single one. If you want to keep improving and crushing in the intelligence economy, watch this next episode. Subscribe so you never miss a future episode. Your support really does power this channel, and it means a lot to me. And if you found value in this episode, give it a like and share it with another aspiring crusher. And for more strategy, structure, and free tools, join the free newsletter at vintonpoker.com. I'm Vinton. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.